gentlemen, lords and ladies, Jacob Butter speaking, and a warm welcome to this week's Walking Wednesday. It's Carnival time! It's been Carnival time for quite some time, actually. I'm in the middle of Vigo right now, actually, and this apparently is the funeral procession. You know, everyone seems to be, cheering and celebrating. For example, I don't know if you can hear me right. They're following this giant thing with some person's head on it, like an actual person's face plastered. I'm gonna head this way. I know roughly where they're going, so I'm gonna try and cut them off when they actually get there. They're turning around right now. Oh, wait a second. Bus. Okay, they're going that way, so I'm going this way. Alright. Because I know roughly where they're going, so I'm going to try and cut them off when they get there. Also, I'll show you a bit of Vigo actually as well, because I don't think have I filmed here yet? I'm not sure if I have. If you're wondering what this is supposed to be, this is the wizard trainee costume. Wizard trainee that may or may not look exactly like a Hogwarts uniform. It didn't come with a tie, but that's fine anyway, because they only sold Gryffindor ties, and I'm in Ravenclaw, so I just picked my regular one from the Gacha outfit. Even though it's not the right shade of blue, it's close enough. It's close enough. So, yeah. Okay. Just going to... You know what? I'll show you the sea, actually. Well, not the sea. Well, looks like the sea. Yeah, because again, I'm not sure how much I've been down here. So yeah, this was not meant to be my regular costume, or not for the entire time. I was supposed to have two costumes, and today I was meant to be sporting my my presumably would have been amazing Piccolo regalia, but unfortunately that was not to be the case. But I'll get to that in order. So, actually, wait, no, it is in order, kind of, because I ordered it on last Wednesday, actually, and it was supposed to be coming in from Zaragoza, and as it turns out, they actually had an option that said, okay, well, if he wants the closest, the earliest delivery day would be the 3rd. And but only if you actually choose one of our drop-off points, which happen to be in Portugal. The city next to the one that I'm in. So I thought, okay, fine. You know what? Whatever. I can manage. It turned out it was about an hour's walk away, which is not the end of the world, not ideal, but certainly it's all right. So yeah, so I thought, okay, well, I'll make my way down, and I'll figure it out on the day. So yeah, here's where a little bit of an issue comes in. So at some point during last week, I accidentally used up all the data for the month, which happens occasionally. Has happened occasionally over the years, but not since I've been here. And that's not normally an issue. It's just that because it partly was because I use it in order to actually, because I don't have a teacher's account at the school, so I can't access the Wi-Fi. I can't log into it. But normally it turns out, okay, fine. So if I do that and I turn on data, then whatever. But it didn't work the same way as normal, because for some reason now it wants me to log in with login details that I don't normally have now that's been like topped up. So, and everything seems to have kind of halted, whereas it used to be all like super easy, barely inconvenience. So yeah, yeah, there's the water, by the way, over there. But yeah, so I've been dealing with that. And I think part of it is also in the phone itself. Something is different now. So, so while I was using Google Maps is fine, so I'm using that as per normal. But while I was doing that, I was loading up to see see if I could actually, you know, go into like the link and, you know, put thing in so I can actually track the website. It's like, okay, fine, I'll go to Gmail to get the number. Gmail doesn't work immediately. It's like, but Gmail eventually finally works. Okay, fine, I'll go to the website. I need the number. Oh, don't have the number. Go back to Gmail. Gmail doesn't work again. Okay, fine, I'm gonna wait for Gmail to load. Then get the number, then put it back in. And it turns out that it's even though the order has been processed and it's been requested from the transporter, it's actually it's still on its way, and it has been on its way ever since. So I didn't quite make it to the delivery point. I just basically did some shopping and then returned. I think I also actually bought a spare plastic wand, actually, because I don't have the ones from home, which I just left on the bus. Actually, I would show it off, but I lost it mere minutes ago, and I only realised about when I was about to turn on the camera to start filming. So that's fun. Other than that, yeah, it served its purpose for, you know, how long I needed it for, because this was the costume I got also, I think, on Wednesday. I went to get the costume on Friday, or whatever the third actually was. No, the third was Monday. Yeah, I went to get it on Monday. Never mind, I've gone out of order. Anyway, this one I got very early on because I was like, okay, I need something for the actual school carnival day. Because the way that it works here is that since carnival is an official holiday, you know, they don't have school during Monday, Tuesday, and also today, which means that I actually have one day of timetabled going in, which is, you know, which is a shame for teacher one, but there you go. But either way, that means that okay, what do they do for actual celebrations? Well, they just have it slightly early. The same thing, I think. Actually, no, it wasn't the same thing with Magos, so that was only one day. Yeah, that was. I think that fell on a weekend as well, so it didn't really matter. They still did it early. They do holidays early, basically. Which means that I needed something a little bit sooner. So I got this costume from just a random bazaar in Portugal, and then here we are, which is great because actually there's one student who's like really into Harry Potter, who also watches my channel, by the way. So hello if you're watching this. So I knew that at the very least you would appreciate that. I only saw her for a couple of seconds because what actually was going on when I arrived there was they were in the middle of a dance competition. So backtracking for a second, I was in the teachers' lounge some time ago, I think I was working on some Mutant Girl stuff. Actually, wouldn't be surprised. I even got that stuff for today, so I can work on it on the bus. That's partly what's in here, my big computer rather than the small one, because I can't transfer the license over, so I need to edit it in one place. But yeah, I forgot what I was going to say now. Oh yeah, so I was editing and I looked up for a second and I noticed that you know that that song APT that came out recently. So that one was there were 4 teachers, I think. They were doing what looked like to me like a rehearsal for a TikTok dance challenge. So I was like, oh, well, you know what? Fair enough. There was like a huge age range between them actually. So it was a cross-generational TikTok challenge, which was rare to see. It's like, oh yeah, good for them. All right, I'll proceed to pay no closer mind to this. Turns out that was a horrible mistake, because what was happening on the day of Carnival was that each of the year groups and their respective tutors were competing in a dance competition, and it turns out that the way it worked is that there was some front people who everyone else was copying, similar to what happened during the last day before Christmas. Actually, same general idea of okay, well we'll have certain people we'll have like a dance event, but it will consist of copying people just dance style, except this time it was your own classmates. So yeah, they all had costumes that were sometimes themed along with each other, sometimes not so closely related, but yeah, like a huge variety. And yeah, there were 3 teachers who were in charge of judging, and so they were doing their thing, marking down scores and all of that. And the reason it was a mistake to... Hold on, I just got to show you something. What on earth is that? I've never seen that before. I'm going near it. Anyway, what was I saying? Okay, so basically, I just realized how big these steps are. Bear with me. You see them? It's about the size of me, or my knees. There we go. Anyway, so during that competition, that was everything was kind of as normal. I was clapping along. I at one point moved a broom away because my instincts kicked in. It's like someone's going to trip over that. They almost did. So that happened. I said hi to some people. They actually, a lot of them, they like screamed my name and then asked for a photo. I showed up fashionably late, so I guess that's probably why they weren't expecting me to be there at the end. And yeah, like after that I thought, okay, that was fine. But then it turns out there was another round. Some of you might be expecting this. You weren't expecting this, but you might be expecting what I'm going to say. Yeah. So it turns out there was actually a round for the teachers. And because no rehearsals were required to take part, I was thoroughly encouraged to do so. And you know me, when presented with an opportunity to perform, I yes and anything. So I then immediately proceeded to we're like, okay, fine, I'll do something, would not involve like actual arm movements, which were to be aided by the use of wand. And yeah, it turns out that was what we were doing the APT dance routine to. So I should have paid attention to the routine itself in order to figure out what was going on. Oh well, live and learn. I don't think we were being scored really. The teachers obviously did not win, which I'm not surprised about given what we actually did. So yeah, that was the end of that really. To follow that up, the rest of the festivities actually were the things that I actually either things that I've heard about from speaking to students. because since it was Teacher 4 and there was a lot of exam preparation going on before this, it was very much just a face-to-face situation. Longer time period between them, actually. Now she's giving me 10 minutes rather than 5 with them, which is fantastic because I can't do much in 5. Even if they don't respond to me during that time. Sometimes it takes a while just like, give them that nudge anyway. So I did that. So I just need to rest my shoulder. And I asked them, I wasn't really supposed to ask about their plans for Carnival, but I kind of did because I wanted to, engage them in something. They told me about several things that were going on, including such things as, okay, I'm going to say debate, barking dog, but good location. No, it's fine, the dog is coming this way, so I can avoid it anyway. Yeah, so they told me about a few things they were doing. A lot of them said they were going to this one particular the place, or these two particular places, I should say. A combination of festivals known as Feira Barreiros, which was happening in one of the neighbouring towns to the one that the school is in. As it turns out, these two streets have two different events going on. There was one called A Feira, and there's one in the cultural centre of Barreiros. So I compare what they told me to Romeo and Juliet's, basically, where it seems like it was, two neighbourhoods, both alike in dignity, but this time, instead of quarrelling physically, they were quarrelling over which festival was better. So I had a plan. This was again Monday, to pick up my Piccolo costume and head off to go there, and potentially because I know there's bike rentals up to a certain time in the day. I thought, okay, I'll rent a bike because Google Maps is telling me that on a bike it takes 46 minutes or something, which again sounds like a lot, but given the walks that I've been on before, it's not that bad. It is when you consider that I live in a very hilly area, but whatever, I would have managed. That is to say, if several things had not gone wrong immediately. One of which was, of course, like I said before, the costume wasn't there. The second thing was that the bike rentals, the way that they work is they're free, but you have to go to the tourist office and present your DNI, or in my case DIE, and then just so they have like a register of who's got the bike for. I don't know whether or not you have to give them back before they close, or you can do it the next day. I would have asked this question if the office had been open. So as it turns out, the tourist office is closed until a new notice. Hasta nuevo aviso, as they say. So I didn't have that option. So I was like, oh, well, I've promised that I would check out this particular place. I still have not rented a car, and I now no longer have the means in which to actually get a bike at short notice. What do I do? Well, the solution would have been to take the bus, but by that point, I believe all the buses had left. In fact, the bus that I took to get here, I think, was the last one of the day. This was because the other town would be like on the route. In fact, I confirmed this. It took 10 minutes on the bus that I took here to get to where I went to on foot in an hour and a half. That is where I more or less draw the line. Here we go. Water. So that was the reason I vanished for some time on Monday. So yeah, I was I went over across hill and dale in order to keep my promise to the students. By which time I actually got there and I realized that okay, I've in the distance I saw like on the hill there was actually this big lit up display. It was sort of in a tent shape, but above it said Afeda. So I was like, okay, that's my first destination. So I got there. I think this might have been like around 10:30 or something, local time. Was when I got there, having set out at 8ish more or less. So then so then I was like, oh no, it's 10:30 already. As it turned out, when I got there, it was mostly empty. There were a few people still like standing around, basically. A lot of older people, a couple of kids here and there, but not really. So I thought, oh okay, all the kids must have gone home now because it's late. I guess most other people have as well. There was a stage that no one was actually taking part in. So I was like, oh well, and they must have wrapped up. Okay, fine. I'll order some food. Turns out one of my students was actually there in the taking orders. I said, okay, fine. I'll order some food. Get a drink, one of the stands, and I will I will return. Or I will go to Barreiros and see what's going on if they've still got something happening. I was like, oh well, it's a shame. I tried. I got here late. I technically been here. Turns out I was wrong. I was actually early. They hadn't properly started yet. As I waited there with my food, they actually I think it got to like about 11 or something, and then suddenly like the stage that came to life. They actually the performers were there. They ushered people forward to try to start dancing and everything. I of course was one of the people who actually listened to that, so I was there with my cheese sandwich, trying to sway to the music without dropping it, because it was much larger than I thought it was going to be, and listening front and center to this basically this quartet of singers and dancers, and then you had a band behind them or something. I might do a slideshow or something, or a video upload of everything that happened during that time, or what little bits I filmed. So obviously I try to be in the moment. I don't want to be the typical person at the concerts, filming the entire thing, not really enjoying the experience. So I film bits and pieces. I'll publish the bits and pieces sometime later, maybe when I get back, or possibly if I have Wi-Fi at the station and I'm not too busy doing Mute and Go. So after a while in Afeda, I then, again as promised, I went to go around to see Barreiros. Now, one thing I didn't actually mention. Oh wait, no, I'll get to that later. So I went up, over the hill, round to the culture center, which was where I was heading anyway before I saw the Afeda sign. And it turns out, yeah, that place was much more crowded. It seemed like that was the general place to be. Again, a lot of older people, and I'll say that the music in both places was very was I think Mexican in theme. There's a lot of cumbias basically, or cumbia versions of pop culture songs, like the new Shakira song Soltera, for example. That's one of them. But in fact, I heard that one in both places, actually. That's how popular that song is at the moment, for understandable reasons. If you know that Soltera means single, and you recall the reason why Shakira is single currently, it makes perfect sense. In any case, I'm trying to determine which way to go, by the way. I just see if I can loop around. This is like when I filmed at the Albert Dock in Liverpool, actually. similar idea, right down to the statues behind me. Except this time, I know that I can and properly show them to you. There you go. Anywho, so yeah, once I had enough of Barreiros, then I actually had to go back more or less to Arfeda anyway. I thought, okay, well I was there early, maybe I'll loop back around again, because I saw some students of mine like just arriving as I was leaving. So I was like, okay, we know I'll go and properly say hi, because none of them were at Barreiros, despite the fact that most of them said they were going to go there. As it turns out, one thing that one group had mentioned to me during the face-to-faces was the fact that, oh no, there's no ways and carts over there. Was the fact that a lot of them were going to hang out in between the two groups. It seems that the younger generation do not care so much about the feud, except for the ones that are from those particular streets, and thus have inbuilt loyalty to one side versus the other. In fact, there were some debates about that, depending on if they were from Feira or from Barreiros. So most of them they didn't really care, but it turned out that they all determined that was the place to be, in between the two festivals. Now, if you can imagine what reason they would have to isolate themselves from the areas which would attract the most public attention. Yeah, once I showed up there, it was definitely a huge surprise for them. Again, a lot of them shouted my name in a manner that was reminiscent of some of my classmates from, again, Liverpool, from university, which is concerning when you consider that a lot of them were in an inebriated state when that happened. And yeah, some of them, offered me like a drink while I was there. I was like, okay, now I've got something. I had ordered something at Arfeda, I remember, so I still had the paper cup with me. I was waiting for the ice to melt, actually. Oh, okay. I saw someone walking past here. I don't know if they were going inside the building. I've got to go back round again. Yeah, and one of the students said to me, I'm drinking water. Oh, by the way, it's like, yeah, of course you are. Like he said that to me in English as well. So, in fact, there was actually one other person who I spoke to like in Spanish, because he asked me a question in Spanish. I was like, okay, we're not in class. I'll answer him in Spanish. Then he was like, well, you speak Spanish? And I was like, wait, didn't you know that? It's like, oh yeah, no, my brother told me about that. He knows you from choir. It's like, well, if you knew me from choir, why are you surprised then? I don't know. That was one thing that's surprised me, that he was surprised. So, yeah, some interesting activities, some interesting times, basically. I didn't stay there for long because, again, it took an hour and a half to get there, which meant it took an hour and a half to return. By the time I found that bus station that I've now determined took 10 minutes to reach, it was already relatively, well, I say relatively late, it was past midnight. So yeah, I decided, okay, you know what? I could keep going, but I'm not going to. Because I'm gonna get back and, I don't know, pop on some free rent or something, which is the thing that I'm watching currently on Netflix. So yeah, I was like, and also I forgot to mention my shoes, my left shoe actually has like torn. So I got some glue at the bazaar again. I think I did that like right before I left. And I applied it. Well, I let it apply for some time, then I left. So that's why I departed at 8. But because of dancing, it came apart, so I had to So I went back during that time, and I walked past the police who had stopped a vehicle of some kind for whatever reason. I think it might have been like an alcohol control type of deal. The person was let go, but then because I was there, like they stopped me just asking where I was going, because I was walking alone at night. So it's like, yeah, okay, fair enough. It's like they asked me like what was I dressed as. I explained. They said, okay, well, where are you heading off to? I said, oh, the neighboring town. They knew it was an hour and a half away, basically. Or by that stage, an hour and 20 minutes, maybe. I had been walking for some time. And so they were like, well, that's gonna be a concern, because obviously I'm wearing black as well. So, if I had to walk like along the roads, I pretty much have dark vision, so I would have been fine, even without my phone light. But could something have seen me? The answer I would have thought would be yes, because they have headlights that are much more powerful. But yeah, I guess I can understand from the police perspective like what their concern was. So they said to me, put my jacket on, which I also have with me. It's at least a little bit more of an attractive color. As I was going back and boiling, I realized, oh wait, I could just reverse this and show the red part. So it's like, okay, fine, I'll go back, in bright red. That should be fine, I'm sure that if the police were still here, they would think that would be, an acceptable solution. So that's what I did. I turned the cloak inside out, and I proceeded to keep walking back. That was until right before I was about to enter the town. It was like the home stretch, basically. It was like the part where we think like the adventure is over. But oh no, there's one more challenge around the corner. Or should I say, two more challenges. For you see, Galicia is known to have wild boar in its wildlife. In its collection of local fauna. So, and I hadn't seen, I think, many of them, except for like one time in Carnival maybe, but you always like hear that they might be around. The first time that I saw them was actually that particular night, when I was wearing bright red, about to go back into the town. It's like, can I find an alternative route? Not really. So I put the jacket back on over the bright red and walked as slowly as possible, because I also looked up again. Now that I have data, I can actually do that. It's working a bit better now than it was like beforehand. So it's like what to I was like, what to do to not scare wild boar, what to do to not get attacked by wild boar, blah 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 blah. And yeah, it turned out that the best solution was just to walk as slowly as possible and as far away as possible from them. And is that the same? That's the ride from before. That's the thing. Oh, sorry, I've to zoom out. That's the thing. Okay, maybe but no one in yellow. Is that a different float? I think they're going to read out the results of of any competitions they were doing. Okay, I've got to look back around to that. Yeah, but for now, yeah, I don't know. I'll check that out later. So yeah, I walked as slowly as possible. One of the boar did in fact see me. It turned around, snorted once, and then retreated the opposite direction. So it did charge in the opposite direction. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll just still go as slowly as possible until I get into the town. I'm still going slowly. Still, there's the town border. Okay, okie dokie. You know, it was like that. So that was my adventure on Monday. Tuesday, I just watched what was going on in the local town. They had a bit of an event, mostly for kids. I sat there, wrote a little bit, because actually the chapter that I'm working on in my book is actually currently is actually a ballet festival. Again, Magosto, not Carnival, but still, you know. I got to one of the big scenes. It's the final chapter, so you know, currently wrapping up everything, epilogue style. So yeah, that's that, and then today I'm here, which has been much less hectic, surprisingly. And at the station there are several different buses that you can actually get that I know that I will not be late for, and stuff to charge devices should I actually end up needing to use them for whatever reason, including editing. So I'm not, you know, wasting as much time as the 3 hours I did walking back and forth and the 2 hours I stayed there. That's my debate for this week, incidentally. So, you know, it's you know, like working on Mutant Girl versus, because again, it's the remake needs to come out in about a week, but also it's Carnival. It's like, well, I promised to celebrate. I should take this opportunity because, again, I'm here to experience, you know, the culture. It's like the whole reason that, you know, the program exists partially. It's like it's an exchange. You know, I teach them English. You know, they teach me life, I suppose. And that life part included me keeping that promise to go to Feira Barreiro. So, yeah, I'm doing the best that I can to, you know, seize some opportunities. One thing I'm not doing is traveling internationally as much, because that's one thing that Denethor recommended, actually, if you remember who Denethor is. He actually said, well, you know, while you're there, you can actually like access like the airport, so you can have like a bunch of like really good like international flights, you know, to different spots in the European Union. It's like, well, I can do that anyway. You know, we don't live that far away from airports in the UK. So if I wanted to like do a bunch of international travels like I do every summer anyway, I could just do them. So, but yeah, aside from that, I've been trying through everything else, and it is severely tempting to rent a car, despite the fact that I've never driven on the Spanish side. Do I risk the endangerment of others and myself, or do I just, you know, keep making myself the sole target of night cars in Galician hills, wearing bright red in order to account for that? That's my debate, but there you go. That's Carnival for you. And if you know, the public risks versus acts of recklessness don't imply the Spanish lifestyle, you know, especially late at night, I don't know what will. So I think I'm doing it correctly. With that in mind, I think that's all I have time for this week. I need to get back and check out whatever's going on there, actually, and I'm going to cross the road to find out. So please leave a like or dislike, because your opinion matters. Subscribe to us already, and on that note, until next time, farewell. Mischief managed.